The Yankees have lost back-to-back games after falling to the Nationals in D.C. on Wednesday 5-2. The Bronx Bombers have an off day on Thursday before starting a three-game set with the Cardinals at the stadium on Friday. We're going to talk some Yankees baseball with a guest who is joining me in studio. He is the host of Locked On Yankees podcast. My guy, Brian McKeon, joins me now. What's up, Brian? How you doing?
What's up, Dexter? Thanks for having me.
I'm glad to have you here. You are a big Yankee fan. You host a fantastic podcast, and we're going to talk some Yankees baseball. How you been feeling about the team this far this season?
You know, it's fairly indifferent because they play really good against really good teams, and they play poorly against the average and the bad teams in baseball. It's very hard to get a sense on a team like that. Part of me has confidence going into the postseason because they play well against the good teams. But part of me is a little scared because they can't seem to hit it when they need to.
Yeah, the last time you and I talked, you were already jumping ahead to October, and I was joking.
I'm still there.
I was joking with you a little bit about that, but I get that. I get the rationale behind it and the fact that they've played really good against some of the upper echelon competition, but they've sometimes played down to their competition, as we saw in the last series. So, Brian, let's start with this, because on Wednesday, Carlos Rodon, he struggled again. He gave up multiple runs early in the game. How concerning is Rodon's recent form that's been inconsistent for the Yankees?
Yeah, that's been the story of him all year, right? It's inconsistency in every single start. And the reason why I'm so concerned is when his stuff is on, he's one of the better pitchers in all of baseball, right? Sweeping slider, great fastball. He's everything you need in a number two starter. But when he's off, he's given up 6 runs, and it seems like he gets mentally checked out of a game really quickly. Right? By inning 2, if he's given up 3 or 4 runs, he's out of that game. And you can't have that in a playoff game, especially if that game's on the road, an opposing crowd is going crazy, or it's in the Bronx. You need to be on your game. You need to be able to recover from a bad first inning really quickly. And if he's unable to do that, that's concerning, especially in games when the Yankees tend to struggle to score runs.
Yeah, and that's the thing in talking to a lot of the Yankee fans, the content creators like yourself, right? Everybody's been waiting for Rodon to just put it together consistently. I would feel like with September right around the corner, it's now or never for Rodon, right? You need him to step up now.
Yeah, and I think that's what's partly crucial for getting Rodon to start games at home in the postseason, right? Because his track record in Yankee Stadium is far better than his track record on the road. And if you can get him to pitch in an environment where he's comfortable, I came back to A.J. Burnett in 2009, right? His home starts were crucial. Wasn't great on the road, but his home starts were crucial. You got to set yourself up for the best path possible. And Rodon pitching in the Bronx is the best path the Yankees could possibly have.
All right, that's what we need. We need him to pitch at the stadium. We'll see if that can happen. If the Yankees get to the postseason, O'Brien will tell me it's about when they get to the postseason. Now, we talked about the inconsistency of Carlos Rodon, but the Yankees' offense has been inconsistent lately, as seen in their inability to capitalize on opportunities in both losses in the nation's capital against the Nationals. What do you think is the primary cause of these struggles, and what changes might the Yankees need to make to their offensive approach?
Yeah, I don't know if it's changes the Yankees can make, because I think the Nationals figured out the formula that all of baseball is figuring out. Yankees can't hit left-handed pitching. They can't hit left-handed pitching. They've been struggling against it all year. It's been a major problem for them all year. And if you think the Nationals have 4 out of their 5 guys in the rotation that are lefties, right? But the rest of the league, if you don't think they're going to pitch lefties against the Yankees, you're out of your mind. They're going to go lefty strong against the Yankees, and it's going to really, really hurt them. They haven't been able to hit left-handers all year. They proved it against the Nationals, who aren't a terrible team, but also aren't a great team. And they're a team the Yankees should be beating. So, you know, these are games that are crucial. Losing 2 out of 3 to the Nationals, losing games to teams that you should be beating. Baltimore's right on your tail. And like I said before, the importance of getting home playoff games. These are where those games are won or lost, right? These parts of the season are where playoff series are won and lost, because some series are changed by whether you're home or on the road. And the Yankees need to be able to capitalize when they play bad teams, especially at a time when Baltimore's out in L.A. playing the other best team in baseball, the Dodgers.
Yeah, it is the time. The time is crucial. Now, we'll get to Baltimore breathing down the necks of the Yankees. We'll get to that in a second. I want to talk about Aaron Judge. You and I have talked about him. He did fail to deliver in a crucial spot in Game 2 of the series against the Nationals. Do you look at this with everything that's going on with him chasing the home run record? Is this a sign of fatigue, or is it just a case of bad timing? Let's pump the brakes with Judge here. And do you think he's feeling a lot of pressure with this home run chase that is continuing for him?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that at all. I think Aaron Judge, with the fact that he's already broken this record and the fact that it's his record to break, this has been there, done that for him, right? I don't think he's too concerned with the home run record. He's going to have a spell. It's weird, right? He doesn't homer for a series, and we all freak out like, oh, what's wrong with Aaron Judge? What's he doing? Whereas the week prior, the guy was hitting home runs left and right. I wouldn't be too concerned with a struggling series in Washington. He struggles with lefties like the rest of the team. He'll pick it up. I think he's going to re-break his old record. I think there's a lot less pressure when you're doing it for the second time, and there's a lot less pressure when you're breaking your own record, right? If he's chasing the record, it becomes a little bit of a distraction. It becomes clubhouse noise. It becomes the media coming in asking questions 24/7. It's not as big of a storyline this year because he already did it once, right? So I don't think that's necessarily getting in his head, and I don't know if that pressure is going to affect him as much as it did 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point to that. And I was talking with our Yankees beat writer, Greg Joyce, about this, and I told him, I said, hey, if he can get to 50 or above before September, I think he's in really good shape to break this record. It looks like he is. I think the big question is, will he see pitches to hit? Now, he's not seen a lot, and when he does, he's taking care of it, but you feel confident that he will break this record.
Well, isn't it perplexing to you around all of baseball how teams continue to pitch to him?
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm no manager, but if it were up to me and I was a manager of a team, I wouldn't pitch to him ever. I would never give him a pitch to hit. I'd walk him every time there was an open base in front of him because he's proven every single time he's a complete threat. He's the best hitter that I've seen in my lifetime. And I don't know about you, but I'm assuming it's as close to Bonds or more than Bonds as you could possibly say.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely close to Bonds, like the closest thing we've seen, if you want to say that. If you want to say better, I'm fine with something.
Yeah, so you look at that, right? Better player, if you want to say better player than Bonds, fine, right? But you can't really, he takes his walks. He doesn't strike out anymore. He's a base hit double machine, right? He's not just this walk and home run guy, right? He's the ultimate kind of hitter in baseball in today's game. So I don't know why anybody would even test him or even pitch to him at all when there's an open base. The key to him having a good year is Juan Soto. Because having a guy like that in front of you in the lineup, it's protection. It's always generally a guy on base. Other teams can't navigate Judge as much as they'd like to when he's hitting third in the lineup as opposed to when he hits second in the lineup.
Yeah, and that's what makes the Yankees so dangerous with both of those guys going, Soto and Judge. Now, you mentioned this, Brian, the Orioles. They're right there. They are gaining ground in the American League East on the Yankees. They trail the Bronx Bombers by a game right now. How confident are you that the Yankees can hold off the Orioles in this divisional race? Because you talked about how important it is to win the division, get those home games. And what do you think are the key factors that'll determine whether or not they can stay ahead and lock up this division?
Yeah, I think it's crucial to win the division. I think it's if they're going to win a World Series, if they're going to really complete this task, having these games in the Bronx is the most important thing. It really is. Letting the Orioles catch you is going to be a problem. Because here's the thing, Dexter. Going up against a lot of the American League, right? Young teams that are focused a lot on pitching. That's what Baltimore is, right? A lot of youth, a lot of good pitching. Those are the two things that struggle the most in hostile environments. And I think we can both agree the Yankee Stadium is the most hostile environment in baseball in the postseason. So if you have a younger pitcher, if you have a younger lineup going up against 60,000 New Yorkers screaming, that helps the Yankees a lot, and it hurts them a lot more if that's not the case. So you need to have those games in the Bronx. The importance is so key to playing against any team, right? The Kansas City Royals, another team that you can wind up playing. Another young team built on pitching that hasn't really experienced those kind of environments before. That's absolutely crucial if you want to go win a World Series. Am I concerned about Baltimore? Not really, because Baltimore has failed at every opportunity to catch the Yankees. In reality, Baltimore should have a 5.5, 6-game lead over the Yankees. With how poorly they played through June and midway through July, really up until a series or two after the All-Star break, Baltimore had every opportunity imaginable to catch the Yankees, take a lead on the Yankees, and the Yankees should be in the position Baltimore's in right now. Instead, they failed to do that. So what have they shown me all year where I'm going to think they can be consistent enough to take a lead on the Yankees at this point? Nothing.
With that being said, right, because you're saying Baltimore hasn't shown you enough, and it's fair, when the Yankees had their summer swoon, they weren't able to capitalize. Do you feel confident as we approach September, a couple days away from the start of September, that the Yankees can get this done and build themselves a comfortable lead in the division where you feel good maybe in the last 2 weeks of the season?
Comfortable? No. Will they be able to build themselves a lead? I think yes. Here's my thing. If they go into that Baltimore series, which I believe is the second to last series of the season, if they can go into that series with a 2-game lead, I'm comfortable. Anything less than that, I'm freaking out a little bit.
All right, we don't want you freaking out. I want you to have good vibes heading into that series, so we'll see. Speaking of series, last thing, we got the upcoming series this weekend with the Yankees facing the Cardinals. How critical is it in your eyes for the Yankees to bounce back quickly? We know what happened down in the nation's capital. How do they bounce back quickly, and what are you keeping your eyes on in this weekend series?
Yeah, hard to predict what they're going to do against the Cardinals, right? I started this off saying they play really well against the best teams in baseball, and they play really poorly against the worst teams in baseball. Well, what do you do against the Cardinals, who are the most average mid team in all of baseball, right? The Cardinals don't win consistently. They don't lose consistently. They're just the most mid team in all of baseball. It's crucial in these series to take advantage of where you can, right? You got to win these series. You got to win these games. You got to take care of the teams that aren't there to beat you. Right, and that's what the St. Louis Cardinals have been. They've been an average team all season. The Yankees have to prove that they're one of the better teams in all of baseball. It's so weird where this season's gone with the Yankees, right? You started off super hot. You struggled after that. Everyone's got a weird feeling about them. End of the story, Dexter. They still have the second best record in all of baseball, which is so weird to think about, but it's the truth. And those teams, you have to go out there and beat the average. You have to go out there and beat the best teams. You have to go out there and beat the worst teams. Yankees still on pace for close to 100 wins this year, which it really doesn't feel like a 100-win season. But go out there and prove that you're one of the better teams in baseball. Don't play like you've played lately. Don't let the other team play. Don't play down to your competition. Go out there and prove that you're one of the better teams in all of baseball.
All right, we'll see if that starts with the Yankees in this weekend series against the Cardinals. They're going to try to prove it. You talked about it's been a roller coaster season for the Yankees. Hot start, summer swoon. They've been a little bit mid lately themselves. We'll see if they can get it done. Are you still, I don't know if you said this, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Are you still on Yankees going to the World Series? Are those the vibes from Brian McKeon here?
The weather will cool down.
Uh-oh.
Get your hoodies ready because you're going to need to be in the Bronx late October.
Oh, man, there you got it from Brian McKeon, host of Locked On Yankees podcast, telling you get those hoodies ready because the Yankees will be playing deep into October. I feel like that's the vibe of what he's saying there. Brian, appreciate you. Please check out the great podcast that Brian does there. Does a fantastic job, Locked On Yankees podcast. Check that out. Brian, great to have you in studio. We'll talk more Yankees down the road.
Dexter, appreciate it.
Anytime, my man.